such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time As This, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness. I was not scheduled to be in studio today to shoot this, but I just had to. Before I get to the video, I want to encourage you to go to our webpage, for such a time as this .today, for such a time as this .today, not .com, not .org, .today. There you can always keep up with our news material as we are forced to go to other platforms that will no longer censor us. All right. Let's set the text for this video. Again, I was not supposed to be in studio today to shoot this video, but I had to. I ran across a pretty compelling video. I want to set the scene, as always, with Scripture, Romans 1:26. For this reason, God gave them up to dishonorable passions, for their women exchanged natural relations for those that are contrary to nature. And the men likewise gave up natural relations with women, and were consumed with passion for one another, men committing shameless acts with men and receiving in themselves the due penalty for their error. And since they did not see fit to acknowledge God, here it is, God gave them up to a debased mind, to a depraved mind, to do what ought not to be done. It is describing what is depicted all throughout Scripture, that once you cross the line of the God-given design and reason for sexual relation between a man and a woman in holy matrimony, once you cross that line and now you get into homosexuality, which is depicted here in Romans 1, I don't think it stops there. It keeps going. If God is going to give you, let me show it again, if God is going to give you a debased mind, because you engage in sexual deviance, God gave them up to a debased mind to do what ought not to be done. It goes beyond just homosexuality. Now we're in transgenderism. Why? Because they have a debased mind and they can no longer function reasonable or rational as others who do not engage and go in that realm do. So, here's the video. It would be fun if it wasn't so sad. Here you have a man, it seems like it's on the Dr. Phil show, who's simply asking members of the transgender community, what's a woman?
That's a question I would like to throw out to other members of the panel, actually, because just like the 4-year-old can't answer what is a girl, well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology, is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. It's like, what is a woman?
Well,
can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't. Because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everybody.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well,
how do you define a female?
Someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing, when you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies, we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
Interesting. So I'm trying to understand. Your definition is that a woman is someone who is female, you said, right?
Correct, is a biological female.
So what happens if we have maybe someone who is female, identifies as a woman, right? Cisgender woman, right? As you just explained, maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce. Well, maybe doesn't have those organs that you're talking about that are reproductive organs.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not myself.
You used the word, so what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right. So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people who...
That describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
Was to each their own. Okay. Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently. And so trans women are women too.
Okay.
And you want to hold on.
Say it again. Trans
You
women
want
are
to
women.
reduce.
What you
listen,
won't even tell me
you
what the
wanna
word
reduce,
means, though. So
you
that's
want to
the
reduce
problem.
women. You want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals,
No.
our chromosomes, right? That's what you're
What
saying.
you want to do is
that's what we are.
what you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood.
Okay.
And turn it into basically a costume that can be worn.
As I said, it would be fun if it wasn't so sad. And the sad part about it is you had an audience that cheered as though the confusion was something to cheer about. That line of argument works in no other arena to a rational person. Well, I'm a car expert. You're an expert in cars? Yes, I'm an expert in cars. Define a car. I don't know what a car is. I can't define a car, but I'm an expert in it. If you need heart surgery and you went to a heart surgeon who says, I'm an expert in heart surgery. Okay, doc, define what a heart is. I don't know. I can't really define what a heart is. Would you go under the knife of that gentleman? That line of reasoning works in no other discipline I'm an expert in cell biology. Well, define a cell. I don't know what a cell is, but I'm an expert in cell biology. The argument, there is no argument. And if you're going to go on Dr. Phil's show, supposedly these are not people who are just the average Joe Schmo. If you saw the description, these were educators. These were experts in their field of being non-binary, of being experts in transgenderism. These are the experts who can't define what a woman is. These are expert transgender professors, educators, whatever you want to call them. These are experts in the field of transgenderism. And they still can't define what a woman is. Why? I think you see it. Plain to see. Verse 28, since they did not see fit to acknowledge God, God gave them over to a debased mind, a depraved mind. And anybody, anywhere who claims to be an expert in the field, educating people on what a woman is, yet you can't define what a woman is, but you're an expert. Like I said, if it would be funny if it wasn't so sad.
For such a time as this,